Hi, everybody. My name is Lisa Keslar. Thank you for joining us. I'm here today on behalf of Cheers for Charity New Hampshire, and I'm here with my dear friend, JoAnn Burchuk. Nice to see you, JoAnn.
Hey, Lisa, thank you. I'm JoAnn Burchuk. I'm with Lighthouse Physical Therapy, and this next organization is very near and dear to our hearts. Both Lisa and I are participating in the current program of Leadership Seacoast and have received so much value already out of the program. It's going to be sad when it finally ends, but it's been fantastic. So here today to talk all about the program is Lori, our fearless leader. So Lori, introduce yourself and tell us all about Leadership Seacoast.
Yeah. Hi, guys. Thanks so much for inviting me to join you today. My name is Lori Waltz-Gagnon. I am the Executive Director of Leadership Seacoast. So Leadership Seacoast is a community engagement leadership program. What does that mean, right? Like, what do you get out of that? So we've been around for over 30 years. We bring people together annually, usually a group of about 40, to participate in what is traditionally a 6-month-long program. 2020 has been a little bit different. The class of 2020 has been in this since January. Graduation is on the horizon. We had a little pause, push the pause button for COVID-related reasons, but typically it's 6 months. And throughout that 6 months, people gather on a day-long session from 8 to 4:30 to learn about the issues that impact the region, the Seacoast region. So topics like criminal justice, health and human services, education, the environment. There's 9 program days. There are 7 topics that we study, that we do a deep dive. And it really, I have found, is one of the only opportunities that we have as adults to really shut everything else down, take off your professional hat of being the VP of a bank or a teacher or a healthcare worker or a computer scientist, really sort of put those responsibilities out of your mind and focus simply on what that topic is for the day. So we bring people from around the region that are experts on the particular topic to join us throughout the day and share with us their knowledge and go deep. I always say that we try to organize the day in a funnel approach. Actually, Molly Hodgson is the one that originally coined this idea, where we start the day sort of at broader level to talk about the topic at large. And then throughout the day, we narrow our focus so that we're really focusing on specifically the Seacoast region and what's happening here and how we can get involved. And if it's something that strikes an individual as an area that they're like, wow, this really makes a big impact to me and my family and my life, we want to share with them how they can get involved and make a difference going forward.
Which is fantastic. I've loved every workday so far and have personally learned so much each time, and the engagement is fantastic. Could you share with us maybe a few success stories of people who've done the program, and I know they've gone on to shift and do other things afterwards? So.
Yeah, sure. So we love to talk about our alumni. We have an alumni base of about 850 plus people. So over the course of 30 years, we've tried to maintain a database of our alumni and sort of keep track of what they're doing, where they're going, what have they done since they have graduated from Leadership Seacoast. And one of the things that we do on closing day, is you guys will get a little sneak peek, is we talk about the interconnectedness of the topics. So something that is, I'm sure you've realized this already since we are getting close to graduation, you really can't make a decision about the topic of education without thinking about how that there are impacts and there's a ripple effect in health and human services as well, or decisions that are made in the criminal justice system also impact the economic development of a community. So you start to really put these dots together and connect them. So at that day, at that final day, we ask people to say, now that I know, I'm going to, and make sort of a declaration of sorts as to what they're going to do going forward. And so we have 2 alumni right now that are actively serving in the state legislature. that was their commitment upon graduation, was to represent their communities in the State House. Terry Norelli, who was Speaker of the House, is an early graduate of Leadership Seacoast, which is really phenomenal. She's a powerhouse. We have several folks that have started nonprofits based upon their understanding of Leadership Seacoast or joined a board of a nonprofit. We have people that have started podcasts to really explore and sort of do their own sort of deep dive into multitude of topics. Zach Little, who graduated in 2019, has a really cool podcast that he is able to take a lot of the people that he met through Leadership Seacoast and invite them onto his podcast so that he can talk even more in depth with those folks about whatever it might be.
Awesome. So looking ahead to the next class, you're going to graduate us. How do you see things changing for the new class coming in?
Such a good question. So historically, we have started our programs in January and they have run through June. This coming year for 2021, we are going to wait until March to start the program. Just given the circumstances around the pandemic and the limitations that have been put in place for our program, we are hopeful and we are putting lots of positive juju out into the world that there will be some shifts and changes and a lifting of some restrictions by March so that we can be in person. That being said, we know that we might not be able to do every program day in person. Being in New England, one of the things that we have found, and I'm sure a lot of other industries such as the restaurant hospitality industry has found, we have really tiny spaces. So when you try to bring a group of 40 people into one space and keep them distanced, you realize that you don't have as many spaces to do that in. And we really try to connect the venue with where we are each day to the topic that we're discovering, right? So, for example, Health and Human Services Day last year was held at Wentworth Douglas because we were talking about health and human services, so that made sense. That location would probably work because they have a nice big auditorium, although it's a hospital, so who knows if people really would feel comfortable going there, depending on where we are in the pandemic. But other days like Government Day, we've often gone to either the state capitol, which would probably be a challenge this year, or we'll try to be in a town hall in one of our Seacoast communities. And most of those buildings are really old and small. So we have to look at a few things, but we know that we have the opportunity to deliver the program virtually if we need to. Just like you guys have seen already this year, we've done a few days virtually, at least a portion of the day virtually, and then another portion of the day in person experientially. So we'll continue that model. It'll be a hybrid, certainly leaning more towards in-person if we can, but knowing that that might not be an option and that we'll have to just stay flexible. So they'll start in March and graduate in July of 2021. And they can find the application at leadershipseacoast.org.
Perfect.
So that's a great transition, Lori. So is that the place where anybody can go that wants to learn more about the program? Is that the alternative? And what about some social media as well?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, the hub of our information is really found on our website. There's a lot of information there. We actually just launched a new website last week, so it's much cleaner and hopefully easier to find information and scoot around in there. But the application is available. We are going to officially announce that it's available on October 1st. We're very excited. We're actually also really, really excited that Sheehan, Finney, Bass, and Green is underwriting the class of 2021. So they're giving us a very generous donation and sponsoring the class for the entire year. And the application deadline is on January 1st of 2021. So we're aiming to notify everyone of the results of the application process by the end of by mid-February, so that we can get started on March 3rd. The other spaces that you can find out more information are Facebook, of course, Leadership Seacoast. we try to stay pretty active in that space and share a lot of photos. You'll see that we're doing different events, and that's a good opportunity to sort of take a peek and see who's in the class or has been in previous classes. And then we also have a LinkedIn account, and again, that's just at Leadership Seacoast. We are also this year going to embark on a new program where we're going to focus on diversity, equity, and inclusion and talk about topics that fall under that umbrella. So we're excited. That's going to be not limited to just Leadership Seacoast. We're actually going to open that up to the community, and those will all be delivered in a virtual environment.
Fantastic. It's so great to hear all the great things that you have going on, and I can tell you that I really enjoyed my experience. I didn't know what to expect. I just heard it was fantastic, so I wanted in. And it's been great. Not only have I learned things about my community that I had no idea about, I am putting pieces together in ways that I didn't expect, and I met a fantastic group of individuals who are bright and articulate and interesting and kind. So for me, it's been a joy and a good use of my time.
That's so perfect, Lisa. That's exactly what we want. And our goal is that whether or not you were born and raised in the Seacoast or whether you've moved here from another part of the world, that you really don't know what's going on in your community until you stop and have the opportunity to listen and hear. So that's so great to know. I know that you're from this area, and not only do we want people to become more aware so that they can make better decisions and become more actively engaged. Typically, we do tend to attract a very active participant group, but to make those connections and to, like you guys have already done, I mean, this Cheers for Charity is a perfect example of how we hope the program will inspire people to continue to do more in their community. And I should probably also mention, this just popped into my head, while it's not a traditional leadership program, a lot of times folks say to me, so if the title of the program is Leadership Seacoast, what's the leadership side of things? So in our mind, it's a community leadership engagement program. That's how we define ourselves. But in addition to becoming more aware about things that are happening in our region and how that impacts our local communities and making connections with folks, we also study servant leadership now. So I know you guys were the first class actually to read the book, The 7 Pillars of Servant Leadership, which really aligns nicely with our program so that we can take a closer look and explore what servant leadership is and how we might want to practice that in our own professional lives and personal lives as well.
Yeah, and it is a fantastic book, and there was a lot of really great engaging conversation around that. So that was a great addition this year to the program, and we were happy to be part of that. So, but thank you for all that you do for this program. It's a lot of work, I know, on your part, trying to shift everything around and be safe, but it's much appreciated, and it's a very valuable program that I hope people will be encouraged to check out, enroll, and be part of the next class.
Yes, I'm excited. It's hard every year. It's hard to say goodbye to the current class. But I do get excited to see who the next class will be. And it's always amazing to see the connections that are made and the light bulb moments that people have when they are like, oh, gosh, I didn't know that. So thank you both for being a part of the program and giving me the opportunity to chat with you for a little bit today.
Well, thank you for sharing. We really enjoyed it. So thanks for being here. Take care.
Thank you.